I would like to call the Public Schools of Robeson County Board of Education meeting on December the 10th, 2024 to order. First, we have a moment of silence. Next, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Union Chapel students. Please rise.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Want to introduce themselves?
Yeah.
Excuse me, can y'all come up and introduce yourselves? Let the kids, each one of the kids introduce themselves. No, you good, you good.
These are our students from Union Chapel Elementary School. We have a range of students from second grade on up to sixth grade. And they do the pledge every morning during morning announcements. So they were ready tonight. So I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Speak in the mic. Yeah, let them go. Each one of them go to the mic and introduce themselves.
What would I say? Tell them your name.
Joseph.
Tell them what grade you're in.
5th.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Black, and I am in the 6th grade.
Hello, my name is Josue and I'm 5th grade.
I'm in 1st grade.
My name is Esther, and I'm 3rd grade.
Yeah.
My name is Paisley, and I am in 5th grade.
My name is Jordan MacArthur and I'm in 6th grade.
My name is Skylar Lucker, and I'm in 4th grade.
And I'm Cindy Chavis. I am the school counselor.
Great job. Next, we will have the adoption of the agenda. There's been a motion by Ms. Melissa Ocean. There's been a second by Ms. Crystal Monroe. All in favor? All opposed? Now we have the approval of open session minutes. We got a motion on the table by Ms. Crystal Monroe. We got a second by Mr. Henry Brewer. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Information items. We have Moseley Architects Scholarship Award by Dr. Freddie Wilson.
Let me ask board members if you'll come up, please. It is. I am so thankful, one, to be able to serve with you, board members, and for the public schools of Robeson County. It is an honor to have been selected as the 2025 North Carolina State Superintendent of the Year. An honor to represent North Carolina at the national level. Promise you I will do the best that I can. Moseley Moseley Architects every year support the North Carolina School Superintendents Association with finances. And so they've done that. So what that really means is then this district is North Carolina District of the Year, meaning that our board is North Carolina Board Members of the Year, because in order for that to happen, everybody has to pull together, work together to do that. And so I'm honored tonight to present to our board members a check for $2,500 with the intent that they will use the funds to fund scholarships, and it worked out nice, $500 per high school to do that. And we'll provide a name to you at some point. So if you step out front, let me present this to you and to honor you, all of you.
Up front, out.
Now we have the MTSS update by Dr. Tara Bullock. But before she come up, I would like to publicly apologize to her about last meeting. You know, she waited for 2 hours. We went over a little longer, but you got all the time you want. We want to apologize to you. You take all the time you need.
Okay, thank you. Is that gonna bother you, Cole? If I move it away? Okay, good evening, Chairman Leach, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, and board members. Thank you again for allowing me to speak before you this evening about MTSS, or multi-tiered system of support. I'm just gonna move right on along. So if you will humor me just for a minute, you just close your eyes or dip your head down, and I want you to imagine a school or school district where the following are true. All staff work collaboratively together to support academic, behavioral, social, emotional, and attendance needs of all students. All students receive daily, uninterrupted, and differentiated core instruction in academics, behavior, and social emotional skills. Opportunities are built into the daily schedule in all schools to provide enrichment and intervention support for all students. Core, supplemental, and intensive supports are seamlessly implemented without students or parents having to request them. Educators, parents, families, and the community share collective belief that all students, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, family background, IQ, socioeconomic status, or past experiences, have the potential to achieve high levels of learning. Various data sources are gathered, analyzed, and utilized during collaborative problem-solving meetings. Resources are available when needed to support the most intense needs of at-risk students. Chronic absenteeism doesn't exist for students or for staff. Parents are fully involved in decision-making in the school. Opportunity gaps, achievement gaps, nor equity gaps exist. Parents do not request school transfers or specific teachers from the principal, as they are confident their child will receive the extra time and support necessary to excel in their learning. Got a picture in your mind? Okay, you can open your eyes. Now I want you to just think of all the things I've just stated and imagine that the district that I've just described is the public schools of Robeson County. I want you to just think about what impact would that have on our students, our families, and our community if all of those things were true. I can think of a few things: breaking generational poverty, cycles of addiction, abuse, alcoholism, lots of the crime rate decreasing, a lot of different things in terms of the impact that could have. So how can we make this happen? Well, so a lot of you probably think that I'm a little too optimistic or not being realistic, but I say that optimism isn't a belief that things get better. It's a conviction that we can make it better. And I truly believe that we can make the situation in our district much better for our students and our community. And so how do we do that? Through MTSS. By definition, MTSS, multi-tiered system of support, is what the acronym stands for, is a school improvement framework that encompasses academic, behavioral, social, and emotional instruction and support. And it's through a systems approach using data to drive every decision that is made in a building. So what you see here is that, yes, it's a framework. It's for how we do business. It is school improvement. It's integration of pieces for the whole child. So we're looking at not just academics, but the picture of the whole child and how do we support that. It's all staff, all students, everybody in the building. A lot of problem solving that takes place to ensure that students are successful, and again, all students there. So what we do not see, and I'm going to go ahead and throw these out there because these are still some of the misconceptions that we have in the district. It is not a process. Not a process. It's not something we do to kids. It's not something we put them through. It's not a program. It's not, it does not apply to just a particular grade level or span. A lot of people think it's just an elementary framework. It is elementary, middle, and high school. It's not about a specific population of kids. It's not just for at-risk students. It's for all students. It is not about intervention only. Intervention is a very small part of MTSS. And is definitely not the pathway to EC. This is not what we do to kids to get them tested for exceptional children's services. So again, you're going to hear me say systems and structures a lot, systems and structures. So MTSS allows schools and districts to concentrate on the systems that we have in place. So I've put up there what a system is versus what a process is. Again, a system is things that can be replicable over time, consistently. And within an MTSS, when fully implemented, it should make the job of teaching easier because it's about defining what works and then clearly scaling up those practices across the system. I've thrown in a slide here about the statute and policy connections for MTSS. Just wanted you to know that it's very well grounded in terms of the statute, North Carolina State Board policy. MTSS was initially introduced in 2015 and has since been mandated as a requirement for all public schools and districts to implement since 2020. So, nuts and bolts of MTSS. There are 6 critical elements that provide the structures, again, the structures that we need in order to implement MTSS. And those 6 critical components are there: leadership, building capacity, communication, collaboration, problem solving, multiple tiers, and data evaluation. So within those structures, there are 4 components that are like the activities that you would kind of associate with an MTSS. These are universal screening, progress monitoring, the tiered instructional model, and data-based decision-making. So what do we mean by tiers of support? So I've got a triangle, and I didn't even show the old outdated kind of triangle figure, but I like to think of it as triangle laying on its side because it's a layering of supports. It's not this and this and this, it's you're layering supports on top of each other. So for universal or tier 1, Within an MTSS that's fully functioning and is thriving, about 80 to 90% of students within that structure are going to be okay with just core instruction alone. That means there's really, really good, strong, solid core instruction taking place for 80 to 90% of students. In some cases, there are going to be students who are going to need more support because core is not going to be enough for them. So then you layer on some additional targeted supports. That's going to be about 5 to 10% of your student population. And then there's going to be some students who are most at risk that are going to need core, some targeted, and some intensive on top of that in order to meet the needs that they have. And that's generally less than about 5% of kids in a building or in a class. And again, you're going to hear me say this again. The tiers represent the layers of support. They do not represent students. You've probably heard language. That's a tier 2 student, or that's a tier 3, or all of that kind of language that you might hear in a building. The tiers do not represent students. They represent the layers of support. So I try to provide an example that maybe you could kind of fit it with. So, and when you think about in healthcare, we all have like regular wellness checks. We have preventive care, vaccines, things like that. That would be kind of similar to what core, like a strong core instructional program would look like. We all have situations where we might have to have some additional help. So with medical issues. So like if I'm having some difficulty with nutrition, I may seek the advice of a nutrition, some nutrition counseling or smoking cessation, things like that. So those are not like permanent things, they're temporary, but that's an additional support I may need. For the most intensive kind of support in the healthcare system, like if I needed major surgery, or I needed an organ transplant, something that required very intensive medical treatment. So you think about that in terms of the layering of the support, and that's the same thing that we're talking about with MTSS with education. So tier 1 core support, what does that look like? Everybody receives tier 1. Every student is part of and should be receiving a strong core instruction in academics, behavior, and social emotional learning skills. It's standards-based, so North Carolina Standard Course of Study, grade level specific, and it should be evidence-based, differentiated instruction. Happens every day in the classroom. Classroom teachers and instructional assistants provide that whole group, small group differentiated instruction based on the grade level content. And again, a good strong core will ensure that at least 80% or more of the students are making adequate progress to meet the grade level benchmark. Doesn't mean that they are proficient. It means they're making adequate progress towards meeting the grade level. So tier 2, again, that's roughly about 10 to 15% of the kids who are going to need some additional support. That additional support could look like a teacher or instructional assistant or an interventionist pooling a small group of students to provide some additional support or reteach a lesson for a particular standard that the students are, for whatever reason, did not master. That's typically associated with some kind of frequency. So how many times are we going to provide that? Like how many times in a week? What's the length of that session? 10 to 15 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. So, and all of that is dependent upon what the need is of the students. That typically takes place in the classroom setting. And it's usually about a group size of 3 to 4, 5 to 6. It's in all those kids are grouped together based on a common need. Those students who need tier 3 support, it's going to be a small percentage of your students. This is typically the kind of support that we see that's off grade level instructional support. The teacher may deliver this, but or the instructional assistant may deliver this type of instruction. But really, this is the highest, most intense kind of support. So you're looking at maybe a 1 to 2 students at a time at the most 2 or 3. Most students receiving a tier 3 support are probably going to be benefit more from a one-on-one. Very explicit instruction, a lot more progress monitoring and things like that are tied to tier 3 supports. So academic examples, things we do here in Robeson. So tier 1, obviously, standards aligned core curriculum, KAL curriculum, and Eureka Math Squared. Second steps is our social emotional learning curriculum. Again, that's delivered whole group, small group. Differentiation is a big part of core, which means that differentiation is not something that teachers do when we're trying to layer on additional support. That's something that's already should be part of their instructional wheelhouse. So universal screening assessments that we use, ClassWorks, DIBELS 8, help us monitor progress of students just receiving core instruction. And we have lots of things in classrooms, anchor charts, visual aids. Those are the types of things that help us differentiate instruction in class for all students. What are some examples of tier 2s? Small group reading, or math instruction, the ClassWorks, they have additional time that they spend with ClassWorks with their individual learning pathway and progress monitoring. And then there are Amplify instructional activities as well for those K3 students. Tier 3, this is again, foundational skill instruction. This is off grade level. So if I've got a 3rd grader who is significantly far behind, maybe doesn't know letter sounds or letter names, this is when I'm working with that student one-on-one to provide explicit instruction. Even though that child's in 3rd grade, I'm providing him or her with instruction on letter sounds, letter names. And again, more frequent progress monitoring. This is at the point in which a team may come together and decide, well, we've done this, 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 and this for this amount of time. This was the intensity that the intervention was provided. Do we see any change? And depending on what that might look like, a team may decide that we may need to ask for additional testing, which could lead to an IEP. Behavior examples. We've just recently gone through core behavior practices training with our assistant principals and our principals. So having something that's a school-wide expectations for behavior, clear and consistent. Whole class lessons can be done on this. Small group can be done as well. Recognitions and rewards for meeting behavior goals would be some examples of tier 1 instructional support for behavior. Small group sessions, check in, check out. Behavior plans can be implemented. And then tier 3 for behavior are going to be like your high flyers, your most at-risk students for behavior. You're probably going to do, could consider doing a functional behavior assessment and then putting a behavior plan in place for that child. And then SEL, I've already mentioned social emotional, it's our social emotional curriculum that's supposed to be done daily by classroom teachers. Counselors could push in for additional support for tier 2 support. And then tier 3, mental health support staff. We've had situations where we've had to call families in and, give them, a list of some recommended providers. That would be for the most intense needs for students. Strategic. The database problem solving that's part of this framework allows teams to make decisions that are strategic and individualized, highly individualized to address the student needs. It enhances teacher efficacy and collaboration. I don't know if you know who John Hattie is, but he did a meta-analysis on the effects of certain things on student achievement, and consistently throughout the years, teacher efficacy is in the top 3. So having a culture in your building where teachers feel empowered, they work together, and they feel like they can make a difference with students ranks in the top 3 every time. It creates a collaborative school culture based on continuous improvement, and then it removes that possibility of students who fall through the cracks. I don't know about you, but I don't think any student should be falling through the cracks. So our current implementation efforts, we're still shifting mindsets. We're still working on folks not thinking of MTSS as like MTSS from 4 or 5 years ago. And that's been very difficult, shifting from this is not a process to this is a framework for how we do business. There's still a lot of resistance to change. People are stuck in the way that they do things, and it's very difficult to get people to move. And until their behavior changes, we won't see the impact. So that's very key. Working on getting people to move past old, outdated kind of traditions or methods. Ensuring a common language for specifically around problem solving. We've adopted a problem solving model: assess, analyze, and act. So you'll hear us say that a lot. Just that term problem solving is something you're probably hearing a lot of. Need for continued professional development. I meet monthly with assistant principals who are the MTSS coordinators in their building. And this year, Dr. Williamson has allowed us to have a secondary person who's also been attending this year. And I believe that is going to help us out a lot. Ensuring fidelity of implementation. Schools do a FAMS, which measures their MTSS implementation yearly. And we also, at the district level, participate in a FAMD, facilitated assessment of MTSS. It just gauges where our implementation levels are. And we're really trying to work on aligning, using that data to help drive improvement at the district level as well as at the school level. Again, we're still working on building systems and structures. We've got to have systems and structures in place that if it's at one school, it needs to be across the district at every school for how we operate. And then again, no random acts. I promise you I had this in my presentation before Friday. I know Dr. Williamson spent some time talking about no random acts, but that is really true when it comes to MTSS. We've got to be able to align the work so that people aren't thinking that, oh, I've got to do this for relay, or I have to do this for MTSS, and I have to do this for some other reason. Anything that happens in the building is MTSS. So it's really about when we're doing relay or we're doing coaching cycles, that is a support, a layered support that we're providing to our teachers. So it all fits together. And we're still working on making sure the alignment is there. So in closing, and this is directed at you all, because you are the leaders of this district, you are our board members, and you have a tremendous responsibility in the position that you have. And this is what I want you to think about. Great leaders, such as yourselves, need to be optimists. This is not the same as being positive, because positive is just finding the light in the now. Optimists see the light always, and that's what I charge you all, to see the light always. Any questions?
All right, thank you. We got a question, Dr. Emmanuel.
Requirement from the state of using MTSS. It's not something that we invented here. Would you talk to the requirement by the state?
Yes, ma'am.
That we use this framework?
Yes, so people started grumbling about it in 2015, and the DPI, the State Department, required in 2020 that all schools, all districts implement MTSS. So, and that's back in policy and statute.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Henry Brewer, then we're gonna have Ms. Melissa, then Mr. Terry, in that order.
Dr. Bullard, can you give us some concept of how do you or the schools ensure all these fundamentals happen or occur?
So that's where the professional development piece comes in. And I'm one person trying to do a lot. So I have to really rely on when I do the training here with the assistant principals and their secondary person that's now coming, that that they understand that it is a non-negotiable, that they go back to their building and they do training or they implement what we've asked them to implement.
And may I follow up?
Follow up.
Who monitors and regulates that? Is that done by the individual school or is that done from the central office?
Sometimes we've asked our assistant principals to submit some things as like deliverables, somewhat for accountability, but more just really kind of getting them into the mode of acting and thinking and doing differently. So I don't, other than that, that's about it.
All right. Ms. Melissa Ocean, Dr. Mayo.
Dr. Bullard, I have just a question. We closed our eyes, you created this utopia. So how far away are we from getting at least halfway there where we're all on the same page, all on the same platform, with those people that are reluctant to change, being either phased out or moved? Because if you're not elevating to make leveraging your skills to make our children better, then we have another problem. So there should be no reluctance there to follow through with the process. So how far are we away from getting to where we need to be?
That's a really loaded question, and the only way that I can answer that is that I would say that that we are not as far along as I would like us to be. That's as clear as I can put it.
Mr. Terry, then we're going to have Mr. Craig.
Hey, Dr. Bullard, how are you?
Good.
Good job on the presentation.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. I'm wondering if you had a magic wand, so you had us closing our eyes and imagining, so now I'm in imagine mode. If you had a magic wand, what would you do to wave that wand to ensure that that everything that you could imagine gets done effectively, through this system? I know one of my questions that I was going to have earlier is I was going to ask you, how does this get from the district level down to the schools? And you said you meet monthly with the APs and maybe one other person. So I know that APs and principals, you're busy people. I know that this is just, some of them may see this as another thing that they've got to do. Do you visualize any structural barriers that are in the way to getting us to that utopia? And I'm talking about the ones that the board or just the administration or whoever can sort of pull the levers on moving some barriers out of the way to ensure that this system's appropriately and effectively implemented throughout the entire district.
I think where I would like to begin, and we've started some work on this year. We've really done some work on establishing teaming structures, even at the district level. So it's been real important we have a MTSS district leadership team, which is composed of myself, Dr. Carr, Dr. Dallas, and Ms. Graham. And so we meet monthly or more frequently as needed. And then we in turn meet with there's a district implementation team, which is made up of some folks from Ms. Freeman's Department of Federal Programs, as well as curriculum. And what I would like to see happen is that district implementation team become a more stronger unit, so that if it's not something that I can do, that everybody feels equally prepared and knowledgeable, and that they can support schools as well when they're going out to do school visits or supporting in whatever area.
Do you feel like we have the appropriate structures in place in terms of systems of accountability?
For MTSS related or
Yes.
I think we've started that a little more this year than maybe previously. It could always be better. I mean, I'm a huge fan of accountability. But yeah, I think that it could always be better. But my biggest focus right now is just making sure that it's not seen as something separate and in addition to the work that's already going on in the building.
Do you have any idea or a roundabout number about maybe what % of our students have IEPs?
No, sir, I do not. Sorry.
Thank you.
Ms. Dr. Carr.
All right. Dr. Carr?
It's currently right around 13%, so we've dropped 4% over the last few years.
All right, Mr. Craig?
Thank you, Mr. Ledge. Ms. Ocean had one of the questions that I had. We're taking information on children with this program. Can be behavior,
Absolutely.
can be academic.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so from what I heard, it takes care of every part of the child, every part of the school. Dr. Emmanuel said this is mandated. We're required to do it. Okay, when we get this information now, and I'm mainly looking at elementary, can this help put a child in the AG program at all?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can it help with discipline? And I'm looking mainly at elementary because we have the LAP program and we have RAS for middle school and high school. So in elementary, we have elementary kids that do not behave in class. And it can be fifth grade down below. And I've always said one child should not be able to disrupt an entire class from learning. And does this help us, or do we need to still look at ways that we can help when we have elementary kids who are not behaving in the classroom?
It helps in terms of getting people around the table to have a conversation about what do we need to do to better support this student or this group of kids. It's really more driven by individual circumstances and then team members around a table. So it should not be isolated work, teacher making decision or principal making decision alone. It should be a group of folks around the table who have some knowledge in the area that they are problem solving to come up with a solution for whatever the problem is. And it's not, this is not cut and dry. It's trial and error. I mean, there's no, I don't have a magic wand. I wish I did to make it a lot easier. And I think, because I think that's the frustration, is that the educators, teachers especially, they want to be able to fix whatever the problem is immediately, when in reality, that's not always the case. So it really takes a lot of trial and error and a lot of folks sitting around the table having some conversations around what do we need to do? Is this working? Is this not working? Like, and just really having those discussions.
Okay. So I'll follow up just a little bit with that, since what we're doing at one school, it might be going on in another school, but we might need some input district-wide from everybody as far as what can be done at all schools. It might work at all schools. I mean, what works at one might work at another one. Because again, I'm gonna go back. If we're taking, and this is a lot of work, and it's a lot of work. I've looked at some of the things that teachers do with this.
Yeah.
And none of us want, you don't either, nobody wants, just doing the work and not being able to show, okay, we did this, now this is what we can do.
Yeah.
This is where we can go with it. And if we have to do more stuff at the district level to get that done, then I think that's what we need to do. But thank you for the presentation also.
Thank you.
Good information.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bullock. Appreciate it.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I also want to commend Dr. Bullock. She has done an outstanding job, one, of transition from the old MTSS to the new model. She's done an outstanding job with that. If you remember from Friday, the stages have changed. She's done an outstanding job of identifying barriers and blind spots. So we've taken that next step to the positive. Remember, on the right, the impact of work, negative or positive. So we see that we're on the positive side now, very intentional. But she's done an outstanding job of rolling this out. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now we will have the 2024 Holiday Card Series presentation by Mr. Stephen Taylor.
All right, good evening, Chairman Leach, Superintendent Williamson, and all the board members. I'm here tonight to share with you our 2024 holiday card winners. Annually, we ask all of the visual arts teachers in the county to create holiday cards at this time of the year. they send all those to me, and then I have a group judge those, and we pick some winners of our favorite ones. And when I was looking at those this year, I just wanted to share a thought with you before I go over the names and how proud I am of the students in our county. As somebody asked the other day on the thing I was listening to, they said, why do you get into education? And I listened to a lot of answers from a lot of different people about that. And I tried to think of what my own answer would be. And it was very informative when I was doing this to why I got into education, why I do what I do. And one thing I kept thinking of is a saying I'll say a lot of times: religion, the Bible, education, sports, arts, music, theater, these things are designed to take sadness out of the world. There's lots of things you do every day now that bring sadness into the world. I think social media, I think, well, I won't say a lot of things to offend anybody here today, but I'm always down to participate in things that take sadness out of the world. And that's how I felt when I was looking through these cards, and I could see the joy and I could see the happiness from these students, and it shined a light on me. And I hope that you look at these tonight and you feel that, and then you take that out of the world and you shine that on other people, because I think that happiness we can spread from these things is super important. So we're going to start with our K2 category. Our first winner this evening is Carolina Ortiz at East Robeson Primary, our teacher Iris Adams. Our second winner is Elias Martinez at East Robeson Primary, again, Iris Adams. Our next is Tinsley Lewis Rosenwald, teacher Chastity Priest. And the last one in this category, McKenna Hunt at Fair Grove, teacher Chastity Priest. Next, we'll go to our 3-5 category. Our first winner for our 3-5 category is Naya Southern at Southside Ashpole, teacher Esther Afasu. Our next one is Crisaria McNair at St. Paul's Elementary, teacher Melinda Lauren. Next is Zaria Anderson at WHK at Knuckles, teacher Marie Chavis. Next, we have Paisley Jacobs at Pembroke Elementary, teacher Tanya Jacobs. Last for this category, we have Yanni Lopez at Orem, teacher Crystal Bogenwright. Our third categories are 6 through 8. First, we have Sarah Ortega at Lumberton Junior, our teacher Donique McLaurin. Next, we have Haiti Marr at Magnolia, art teacher Valerie Thomas. Next, we have Cindy Juarez at Magnolia, art teacher Valerie Thomas. Next, we have Courtney Hall at Parkton, art teacher Chad Locklear. And last for this category, we have Janae Walton at Parkton, art teacher Chad Locklear. And our last category are our high school kids for 9 through 12. We'll start with Austin Hunt at Lumberton High School, our teacher Carrie Revels. Next, we have Veda Guzman at Purnell Sweat High School, our teacher Alicia Monroe. Next, we have Taylor Nix at St. Paul's High School, our teacher Karina Kimball. Next, we have Taylor Hunter at Lumberton High School, our teacher Tiffany Samuel. Next, we have Mariah Oxendine at Fairmont High School, our teacher Krista Rachels. And last in this category, we have Rachel Bomarito, Fairmont High School, our teacher Joseph Akiri. Thank y'all for looking at these, and like I said, it's a joy to me to share these with y'all.
Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. Next, we have 2024 Bright Ideals Awards recognition by Dr. Deborah Dallas.
Good evening, Chairman Leach, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. Lumbee River EMC proudly hosted the Bright Ideas Education Grant Luncheon on November 5th at its Pembroke headquarters. Each year, they participate in the Bright Ideas Grant Program, supporting K-12 educators by funding innovative projects that bring creativity and excitement to the classroom. Teachers from various subjects were encouraged to apply for these grants and to make their unique teaching ideas come to life. This year, they awarded an impressive $71,446 in grants to 51 exceptional teachers across Hoke, Cumberland, Robeson, and Scotland. We are extremely proud to say that PSRC received 27 grants this year, so more than half. This evening, we would like to share all of our winning grants with you. So we have Anna Bartley from Rosenwald Elementary. How am I reading? Anna Locklear from Pembroke Elementary. Her grant was Pembroke Elementary Story Walk. Carrie Bullard from Union Chapel Elementary, Robotics in the Library. Connie Revels from Magnolia Elementary, Growing Young Scientists Through STEM in Practical Application. Cynthia Gist Hammonds from Tanglewood Elementary, Share the Fair. Ellen Brantley from Union Elementary, Revolutionary Readers, Changing Our School One Book at a Time. Erica Quick from Rosenwald Elementary, Story Walk with Rosenwald. Aaron Oxendine from Red Springs High School, Doing Science Through Modeling. Gina Jacobs from Union Elementary, Eagles Soar Sensory Walk. Dr. Helena Sybil King from Long Branch Elementary, It Isn't Easy Being Green, Enhancing Kids' Creativity Using Green Screen Technology. Jackie Cummings Hunt from Prospect Elementary, Building a Nurturing Reading Environment for All Students. James Hammond supporting the South Robeson Middle School Art Club. Katara Bullard from Union Elementary, Reading Eagles Soaring Above and Beyond. Katrina Locklear from Union Elementary, Relaxing with Engaging in Rich Texts. Kelsey Cummings from Union Elementary, Sensory Explorers, Changing Lives Through Sensory Play. Kenda Bird Collins from Deep Branch Elementary, Bulldog Multi-Sensory Safe. LaJoan Addison from W.H. Knuckles Elementary, Books, They Are Magical. Leandra Oxendine from Prospect Elementary, Explore, Experiment, Discover. Linda McLaughlin from Red Springs High School, Diamonds in the Rough. Miranda Jones from Purnell Sweat High School, Enhancing Teacher-Student Engagement Through Technology. Kathy Day Locklear from Purnell Sweat High School, Students Making Mindful Choices. Samantha Dial and Amber Oxendine from Prospect Elementary, Around the World in 50 Experiments. Sarah Griffin Green from Roland Norman Elementary, Sphero Bolt Robots for Roland Norman Elementary. Shantia McLeod from Fairgrove Elementary, Virtual Learning Expeditions, Global Classroom. Talik D. Harley McCrae from Purnell Sweat High School, Blooming Brilliant, Art of Floral Arrangement. Tammy Sessoms from Union Chapel Elementary, Innovative Learning. Tayani Lloyd Burns from Union Elementary, Extra Super Reading Eaglets. So we would like to thank these educators for leading the way by creating engaging learning experiences. These teachers have gone out of their way because they have to apply for this. So we appreciate the extra time that they took to pursue this grant and to get the extra money for a project that they have a burning passion to implement. So we thank them for being bright and inspiring the next generation of thinkers and leaders. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Dallas. Now we will have the NCSTA Outstanding Science Teacher, Region 4, by Ms. Susan Miller Hendricks.
So, good evening, Chairman Leach, Dr. Williamson, and board members. I have the distinct pleasure tonight of representing one of our own science teachers from Fairmont High School, Mr. Hampton Miller. He was recently awarded the North Carolina Science Teachers Association Outstanding Middle School Science Teacher Award, as he was a middle school science teacher last year. He was awarded this in Winston-Salem on November the 7th of 2024, but was not there to receive his plaque, so we wanted to recognize him tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. Let me get right here. Come take a picture. Get right here in front. Yeah.
Oh.
I like you like my person.
I'm right here. I'm good.
Congratulations. Hey, stay up here. John, stay up here. Everybody stay up here. Next, we will have the Sand Hills Technology Director of the Year by Mr. Bobby Lightlear.
Good evening and Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Mr. Leach, Dr. Williamson, board members, it is my honor tonight to recognize Mr. Everett Teal as the Sand Hills Regional Technology Director of the Year. Mr. Teal was recognized by his peers last month. The official recognition will not take place until March. And at that particular meeting, Mr. Teal will be eligible for or in the running for State Technology Director of the Year. So again, this just goes to show the hard work that is going on in the public schools of Robeson County, and those folks outside of Robeson County recognize the hard work that we're doing here. But we are grateful and very thankful for the work that Mr. Till and his department does for the students, staff, and the entire community of Robeson County.
You good?
Stay up here. Got some more stuff. Stay up here. Now we have 23-24 School Performance Awards by Dr. Wendy Dorsey Carr.
Good evening, Chairman Leach, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. Tonight, we are pleased to offer congratulations to our schools for the performance during the 23-24 school year. We are presenting awards for achieving and exceeding expected academic growth under North Carolina's accountability system. Whether for academic growth or graduation rate, those certificates showcase the dedication to academic achievement in our school system of both students and educators. We ask that we're going to ask each school to come up as we call their name for their picture and recognition. I don't know which one. So if early college would please come up for recognition for 100% graduation rate.
Take your line up.
100%
Graduation rate.
You can be anything. Well, you might need to switch sides over here. There you go. Nope. Good.
Okay. Next, we'd like to call up East Robeson for exceeded growth. Congratulations.
Same spot.
There we go. Congratulations.
Next, Magnolia Elementary for exceeding growth.
Woo-hoo. That's right. Now, you go ahead. You're good.
She gotta get me to go kiss with
That's right. I'll practice. Congratulations. Nice makers,
Good job.
Congratulations.
PSRC Early College for exceeding growth. Congratulations.
We're getting it now. True.
Congratulations, sir.
Prospect Elementary for exceeding growth.
Congratulations.
Union Elementary exceeded growth. Congratulations.
We got it down pat now.
Congratulations.
Deep Branch Elementary for meeting growth.
Congratulations.
Fairmont High School for meeting growth. Congratulations.
You're gonna get a check. You're gonna get a check later.
Fairgrove Elementary for meeting growth.
Woo-hoo. You took this job temporary.
Congratulations.
Long Branch Elementary met growth. Lumberton Junior High for meeting expected growth. Junior.
Come on, Brooks. Come on, man. Hey, Jason let you do it too. Your boy let you do it too. That's bad.
Congratulations. Lumberton Senior High for meeting expected growth. Congratulations. Oxendine Elementary meeting growth. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Pembroke Elementary meeting growth.
Dr. Williamson has put me on the spot once again.
So let me give you the question.
Okay.
Is this everybody? Hold tight. Is that right?
Oh, you got to go after everybody then.
The question is going to be principals as instructional leaders. When we started the conversation, and where you are now as instructional leaders, which is evident tonight, right?
Peterson Elementary met growth.
Like you see.
Congratulations.
Red Springs High School met growth. Congratulations.
That's hard to do at a high school. Congratulations.
Making
Rex Renard Elementary, met growth.
Where's that Nikki?
Congratulations.
Roland Norman Elementary, met growth. St. Paul's High School, met growth.
Congratulations. I am so proud of you.
Congratulations.
How about her wearing your colors? Yeah.
South Robeson Middle School, met growth.
Congratulations. You got them straight down there.
Congratulations.
Southside Ashpole Elementary, met growth.
You're so secure that boy.
She asked me
Townsend Elementary, met growth.
It's American. Look at that letter. Congratulations. Did your husband see you leave this morning?
Praise God, praise God.
Good job, boy. Always.
Union Chapel Elementary, met growth.
Congratulations. That jacket cost a lot of money.
No, you really would not want me to.
I just want to say congratulations to my colleagues for meeting and exceeding growth. But Ms. Faulkner just leaned over and said that is the first time in 10 years that Townsend had met growth. And I was an AP at Townsend years ago, and she was a teacher there. So just to hear that, and that is definitely through the hard work that we've done the past few years in this district, through the relay training and just learning how to be instructional leaders. There's more to it than just saying it. And I just want to thank the district for actually putting the teeth into that and training us how to be better instructional leaders. Because for years, I felt like I said it, but I didn't have the skill set or the tools to exactly know how to implement that with fidelity. And it's not something that the district dumped on us 3 years ago and walked away and left us. We still are receiving that continuous coaching and training and support as principals. And I think that's important to keep this work going. So I just want to thank you, Dr. Williamson, and the cabinet for your support.
Are we finished now?
Now we have FEMA update by Mr. Hugh McAway.
Good evening, Chairman Leach, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, board members. Just to let y'all know a brief update on FEMA. Back October 25th, we met with FEMA. They are willing to work with us on the project worksheet that was approved. I know y'all approved for us to settle for the 24.9 million. Part of that worksheet now, what will be added to it is any direct administration costs, architect engineering costs from the original assessments from the Hurricane Matthew, as well as the contents of those lost buildings. And they're going to add that to that 24.9. Then they will minus out the insurance reductions from there. We did agree with FEMA, or FEMA agreed with us to work with us on demolition cost being a separate cost from the overall pot of money. Because back in March of 2020, when the school board originally approved a list of projects, demo was number one to come out of that pot. Now it can be pulled out separately and be paid at cost on that. And that would be demo of the old central office site and West Lumberton site. The next step with us is to hear back from FEMA, and more than likely it's a person with their FIT team. FEMA, I can't remember all the acronyms, trust me. There's quite a few, but we'll hear from their FIT team member and they'll guide us on the next steps. One of those is they already want us to have a complete scope of work done, design of a building for the bus garage and everything complete there. As we explained to FEMA, we do not have those funds available to upfront that cost and hope to get reimbursed back later on down the road. So FEMA has agreed to, once the project worksheet is approved, to pull out a section of that money just for architectural engineering and let us take a draw on that to get that process started. Because once we do the scope of work, it'll be turned over to their EHP, Environmental, Historical, and Preservation Department. Hopefully that won't take long, but that usually is about a year-long process for them to go through and make sure that everything is environmentally sound and all that. But with the building of the bus garage at the Highway 711 site, a lot of that was done already before we purchased the land to make sure the proper soil could withstand certain building weights and all that. So hopefully that will go a lot smoother. So once we hear from them and get started and then get the word from Environmental Historical Preservation, then hopefully we can move right along. Hopefully we will hear something that's we're hoping to hear by now, but within the next few months where they'll go ahead and release some of the funds where we can take a draw on that. Now we're planning on first of the year to do an RFP for architect and engineering to try to get ahead of the game, go ahead and have that process started. Because once they allow us to take the draw of funds, we have 180 days to complete that task, so to speak. and that's even with demo. So the FEMA attorney, Ms. Danielle Amon with Baker Donaldson, is working with, they have a procurement attorney of how to properly put it out for request for proposal to meet all the federal guidelines. Because we want to make sure that we're following their process, not just local and state, but we have to meet those federal guidelines of procurement. Is there any questions?
Mr. Craig?
Mr. Hugh, this brought to my attention the other day, the demo of the property is, we know it's got asbestos, so we've always said that, but has there been any look in that we could have that building burned, the buildings down there, the central office by fire companies, and then just go back in and pick up everything? And the reason I'm asking this, I understand they're going to do something like that at the university with a building that they have. And those companies are coming in and they're using it as training. And which, from what I understand, is at a big cost reduction, what we've looked at, if it's possible.
Right. We can definitely look into that.
Okay.
I'll find out and make sure with the FEMA process.
Could we do it?
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Thank you.
Next, we have public comments, and there's not any. Next, we have action items, fall 2024 policy updates by Mr. Henry Brewer and Mr. Bobby Locklear. Mr. Henry?
Mr. Chair, at this time, I'd like to make the total board aware that December the 3rd, the policy committee met. We discussed the fall policy updates. Recommendation came out of the board that we accept all policy updates except policy 2302, which consists of remote participation in board meetings. And I'd like for our presiding attorney to explain a little bit more detail as to why we're asking to hold off on that one.
Just fairly briefly on that, the recommended changes on 2302 are based on a court case from August in the North Carolina Court of Appeals. It's State v. Anson County Board of Commissioners. And the recommended changes from the School Boards Association that were recommended go a little farther than we believe that court case requires. So we want the board to have a full opportunity to review what we would recommend as a policy before it votes on it. And unless the board is planning on conducting a fully remote board meeting, I think that you can hold off on these changes for right now to get advice on potential changes for the policy from our side.
And Mr. Chair, I would recommend that every board member review that policy because right now, there's some description as to what is considered a quorum and also who can and cannot vote if you're not present, but maybe on virtual.
All right. Mr. Henry brought some recommendations that about the policy updates, and we accept all the policy updates except policy 2302. All right, Mr. Henry, we have a second by Mr. Craig Lowry. We have a motion by Mr. Henry Brewer. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Bobby. Now we have 2024-2025 operation budget by Ms. Erica Setzer.
Good evening, Chairman Leach, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, and board members. In case I don't get the opportunity, I want to wish everybody and your family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as we look forward to the holidays. And I can answer any questions anyone has regarding the 24-25 operating budget.
Mr. Terry Locklear.
Hey, Miss Erica, I was looking at the budget today and I noticed a substantial increase in contracted services related to speech. Is there any particular reason why you think that happened?
Is that in PRC 60?
Yes, I think so.
We're making adjustments to that budget. Something changed this year with all our federal funds, and we have to do two separate budgets. Instead of including our carryover and our initial allotment together, we have to do a grant year 4 budget and a grant year 5 budget. So we submitted a budget to get access to the funds, because otherwise then we have to request state funds to cover if we don't get the budget. So we are making changes to that, and that will reduce that. Is it $3 million? If my memory serves me correctly, that will reduce that amount down substantially to what it looks like in a previous year.
Okay, okay. And also, I was looking at some line items related to salaries from last year, some substantial changes in 3 particular areas. Two of them were federal, and the first one was state. So we got custodians in the state area, TAs in the Fed, and APs in the federal area as well. And it looks like about a $4.5 million difference between last year and this year. Where are we pulling funds to make up for those shortfalls?
So with ESSER 3 funding is where we had our assistant principals, and those have been split in 3 categories. The 005, PRC 005, which is state funded, PRC 024, which is DSSF, and PRC 069, which is at risk. For teacher assistants, it's a blend as well. We've placed some additional TAs in the Title I budget. We placed some, they're technically technology assistants, but they would fall under TAs in the 108 Title IV budget, as well as 060 for EC and 032.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. We got a motion to approve the operation budget by Mr. Trey Britt. We got a second by Ms. Melissa Ocean. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes got it. Career Center Phase 2 funding, Ms. Erica Setzer.
And we're asking for approval tonight on what we discussed with the $15 million that Mr. Bobby presented at our finance and construction meeting with the county and PSRC getting that financed, the county paying half the portion, and then Public Schools of Robeson County paying $500,000 a year. Once we get those terms, we'll bring back the finance terms. As we discussed in the previous meeting, that timeline is somewhere between March and May of 2025 when we will have those details.
Ms. Setzer, can I clarify? You're just asking for permission to move forward with that. You're not asking for approval of any kind of agreement, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We'll bring it back again once we have the terms of the financing in details. We'll bring that back for approval.
All right, a motion's been on the table to accept, to go ahead and move forward with the Career Center Phase 2 funding. And the second been made by Mr. Craig Lowry. All in favor? All opposed? Thank you. Sole source vendor.
So I
Hold on.
presented.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Okay. All right. So source vendor. A motion's been on the table by Dr. Emmanuel, and the second's been made by Mr. Henry Brewer. All in favor? All opposed? All right, fundraisers. Ms. Erica Setzer.
And we're asking for approval for the presented fundraisers.
Motion been on the table to approve the fundraiser by Ms. Melissa Ocean. The second been made by Ms. Crystal Monroe. All in favor? All opposed? Next, we have monthly report by Ms. Monthly financial report by Ms. Erica Setzer.
And we're just asking for approval for the monthly financial report as well.
A motion that been made by Mr. Trey Britt to approve. A second been made by Mr. Bradley Phillips. All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you.
All right. Yes.
I'm going to need a motion to go into closed session for the purposes of reviewing confidential personnel information under NC Gen Stat 143.318.11A1 and to consult with the Board of Attorney, the board's attorney under 143.318.11A3 and to consider confidential personnel matters under NC Gen Stat 115C319 through 321 and to consider student records under 20 USC 1232G and NC Gen Stat 143.318.11A1 and NC Gen Stat 115C 402.
A motion been made by Melissa Ocean to go into closed second. A second been made by Ms. Christie Phillips. All in favor? All opposed? In closed session. A motion come out of the closed session by Mr. Trey Beard. We got a second by Mr. Henry Brewer. All in favor? All right, I've got it. Motion to accept closed session minutes. A motion been made by Mr. Melissa Ocean, the second been made by Mr. Trey Britt. All in favor? Motion to accept personnel as presented. A motion being made by Mr. John Simmons and the second being made by Mr. Bradley Phillips. All in favor? Ayes got it. That's it. All right, we got Miss Jessica.
Ready? Good evening, Chairman Leach, Dr. Williamson, and board members and cabinet. I have the honor of
Next.
sharing the winners of our central office wreath decorating contest. So in first place is number 11, which is Exceptional Children's Wreath. Thank you. They did a wonderful job. I would say they're most creative. Technology, number 12, is in second place. And for third place, we have child nutrition, number 10.
Now we have, thank you, Mr. Jessica. Now we have
Thank you.
Mr. Bobby Locklear.
All right, just real quick, just to, January the 11th will be a ribbon cutting at our 2 new classrooms over at Purnell Sweat and St. Paul's High. We will have both of those in the same day. We will start Purnell Sweat at 9 a.m. We will do St. Paul's at 11 a.m. So that's a ribbon cutting at the 2 new classrooms, Purnell Sweat and St. Paul's.
That'll be, Saturday, January the 11th. It is on the Saturday. Dr. Carr? It's on? You on?
So also on January 8th, you should have all received an invite for the playground opening from 12 to 2 on the 8th at the playground.
All right, and which, that's the playground at
Then-
Northeast
yes.
Park, correct?
Mhm.
All right, thank you. January the 8th at Northeast Park for the playground. January the 11th, the multi-purpose classrooms at Purnell Sweat and at St. Paul's. We'll do both of them on the same day. So as this last board meeting come to a close, this will be our last board meeting of 2024. I want to say, remember the reason for the season and Merry Christmas to you and your family. And, you know, just be a blessing to somebody this season. Thank you. A motion to adjourn by Ms. Melissa Ocean and the second being made by Mr. Trey Britt. All in favor?
So we're headed to Outback.
Head out.